Hey everyone, how we doing out there today? This is the Flip Flop Investor Show, and I am your host, Todd Bayer, the Flip Flop Investor, as they say. We talk about Inland Empire real estate investing. We also talk about investing pretty much anywhere. Investing can be done just about anywhere in the world, but yeah, we talk about it here in the Inland Empire. So what we usually do is bring on a local expert or a local investor or a local person that's looking to be an investor, and we talk about well, whatever it is that we feel that would be a good thing to talk about. So today in the studio we have very special guest Hannah Keller. How you doing, Hannah?
Hello. Thanks for having me on, Todd.
Well, thanks for coming. I know we actually I should mention it that your dad, your business partner, I guess we could say,
Yes.
has been on the show twice. Jim Keller, for those of you out there that are keeping track.
Yes, we're that same Keller.
The same Keller, but...
Well, not that the same, but I mean, yes.
Right. The same family.
The same family, indeed.
So,
Or else there'd be a lot of problems right now. And
there'd be a lot of problems. Why?
no, I'm just kidding. I mean, never mind. All right. Anyways, yeah, I work with my mother and father. Jim does active investor role for the team, and Terry is a agent with me at the Keller Williams in Corona.
And what do you do specifically for the company?
So my main role is sales and marketing for the team. So I am an agent primarily for everything right now. So we list all of Jim's investment homes, other investors who have flipped houses. I'm listing those as well. And then we'll also do, your normal standard, my cousin needs to sell a house or I'm looking to buy. We do all that.
That's awesome. And, we also have you as our door gatekeeper at the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club, which is extremely helpful, having you at the front desk checking people in.
Oh, I love it. Oh, I cut you off. Sorry.
That's fine. No, go for it.
No, I love it. If you guys have ever came to the IERC meetings at the Mission Inn, you will see me. I'm typically sitting at that front table right there with Mr. Matt or myself, and I'm helping getting you guys all signed in. No, but I love it. It allows me to kind of meet everyone who's coming through. Sometimes people are kind of coming through. It's their first time. They don't know where to start. Yeah. They're looking around like, oh my gosh, I'm in this big ballroom. What do I do?
Right. And before the meeting got big, I was doing that. And like now the meeting's huge. So we're bringing in like last month we had, I think, 160 something people that came.
I felt that because we signed in every single one of those 100 people, and
yeah, and
it was good though.
But January was crazy. We had like 212 people was I think the total head count.
And when you started, I was probably a fraction of that, I'm sure.
Yeah, when we our first meeting,
you were in the first. You started in a smaller room, and now we're in like the big grandiose.
Yeah, the biggest.
The Mission Inn is just beautiful. If you've never came out to the meetings, you really should. It's a great spot to meet people. I've made some real good relationships from it.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity of allowing me to be in the front.
No, we appreciate it because it's like we needed the help. Like just to set up the meeting, like just to do the meeting alone probably takes about 20 man hours a week.
Oh my gosh.
And so obviously we have a bigger.
So it's like 10
now,
Hannah hours.
Yeah. Okay. You work. You're a superstar. You just.
No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, no, but it's been good. I really enjoyed a lot. When I first started on, I never really saw myself as going into all of the investor side of it just because, most agents, you're trained to, get out there and, farm your farm, make sure you're going to, the realtor of all your friends and family, and that's all great. But I really love learning everything that I've learned just in the last maybe year or so. I'm 24. I've had my license about going on 3 years now. But I've really learned a lot, and a lot of it started from the club and you guys.
Well, that's cool. I mean, we don't necessarily breed real estate agents.
I know,
but it's cool that you actually feel like you got some training like from the investment club because it makes sense because at
the very least to know how you guys are thinking because that's something that I think is invaluable to myself as an agent, being investor friendly and knowing why you guys are thinking what it is you're thinking, why you're doing what you're doing. And for myself also, because I don't see being an agent always and forever. I would love to branch off and do my own investing in the future. Mm-hmm. But I know, like you said, it is really important for me to be able to be there because you're right. Most investment clubs aren't always centered around, okay, first step, got to find an agent to help show you around. I mean, there's a lot of creative ways to do things.
Sure. But I'm a big advocate for working with real estate agents. I don't my personal thing, and I know you and I talked about this before, is, an investor is sort of the conductor of the band. They don't play any of the instruments themselves. They're just up there pointing fingers and say, hey, violinist, it's your cue, or hey, real estate agent, it's your turn, write the offer, work with the buyers, work with paperwork, all that stuff. Agents get to do that. Then they have usually a transaction coordinator, and then the investor is responsible for hiring the escrow company, the title company, the insurance company, the inspector, the appraiser, all these other things. If the investor decides to do any of those things themselves, it really just limits their ability to scale.
Yes, and we've seen it. I mean, I've seen it on both ends. I've seen it when we get calls from people that are saying, "Well, I would never, I would never write an offer with anyone but, you, because I like to go directly to you as the listing agent," and that's all great. But I've also seen it from another end. Like you said, if you can use the leverage and have other people on your team who are only doing what their strong suits are,
yeah,
it'll help you do well in the future. And that's kind of what we've seen in the beginning. Terry and Jim, okay, that's my mom and dad, but I call them Terry and Jim for work because I'm used to it. So sorry if it's confusing. But
no, I get it.
I can't be saying you're my mom and my dad.
Well, it's funny because you and I are kind of similar in a way, because my mom was an appraiser for a long time, had a very solid reputation.
Yes.
A lot of people knew her. And then here I come along, and she's introducing me to everybody. Here's my son,
My sonny
yay,
boy.
And I'm like, hi, I'm an idiot, that's what I felt like. But you're kind of in the same boat because your parents have been doing it for a while, and you're sort of, you're the daughter, but at some point there's going to be a branch off where you have the Hannah Keller team of your own.
Yes.
And I know I had to have that moment at some point where, and my mom and I were doing investments together at one time, and then I had to kind of split off because I had formed a partnership with somebody, and we were doing lending, but I branched off and I got another office and did other stuff, so at some point I branched off, and now I've sort of made a name for myself, but obviously that takes time and a lot of networking.
And I mean, I am in that stage right now, like you said, kind of in the beginning stages of everything where the business is definitely thriving. But yes, you're right. There are certain folks where if they knew your family before you're always kind of going to be the little kid in the in the propeller hat,
Oh, I know. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't bring mine today, but
Yes. And then vice versa, other times, I'm really active on, I'm always, kind of posting up on my social media or other things about what we're always doing. So that then again, on the other note, sometimes we have people that have been, my parents' clients for years and years, but maybe they're contacting me directly because they are seeing that I'm down there in the trenches, not just talking the talk, but really, out there, I'm previewing houses, we're doing valuations for people. I'll go and post videos about progresses on flips and things like that.
Yeah.
And they love seeing that stuff, and they're like, wow, it'll help them have the confidence that, yes, I'm young, I'm not that seasoned agent that's had their license for 20 years and seen all of the, trends and waves of the market, but I'm here now and I know what currently works, and, I can at least speak really educated about that.
And you've probably seen it, there's agents that have been agents for 20 years, and their ability to adapt to the way that the market has changed as far as, social media is something that's come along, and, like the videos that you make, that's unique for an agent, because most agents are older and they don't know how to do that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's not within their, first thoughts in their mind, okay.
Even my mom and dad, it's not in their wheelhouse.
It's not.
Terry's like, I want to do a video. I'm like, okay, let's do it. And it's different. It's if you're not used to doing it, it's different. It's not that making a video is rocket science. Anyone can hold a camera and talk. It's not hard. But yeah, I learned that make it to the point, make it fun. I also learned that when I first got my license, I was really concerned with, gosh, I'm so young, I want to be taken seriously, I have to be, this professional, that people are going to look at me and know I mean business. But I also found out that if I just acted like myself, that people, that's what they wanted to see, and that's what they knew, Well,
of course, because
if you meet me, I'm kind of a jokester, whatever, but, also to a certain degree, but you know what I mean.
I do. And another thing too is most people are going to work with people they're comfortable with, and usually it's going to be people that they're in the same generation with, Yes. So you're obviously a representative of the millennial class, which is a very, very large group of people, and it's a very, very large group of people that haven't jumped into home ownership as quickly as previous generations. We talked about this last week with Bill. You know Bill,
Yeah.
my friend. But we talked about millennials in the market and stuff, and they need somebody that relates to them
Yeah.
to sell their homes, because right now you have these older agents that don't know how to relate to millennials, and it's funny hearing agents talk about millennials like they have no clue, what a
Yeah.
millennial even does, and it's I hate the word millennial. I'm considered like the first year of a millennial. I was born in
I was gonna
'82,
say you're
so
not like no grandpa yourself. I
right,
would say you fit in with the younger sect of everybody.
I
But
do.
but you're right, it is true because I mean, I think there's a lot of people out there that are in my age bracket. I'm talking, mid 20s to really, even late 30s. I would still consider millennials because a lot of those folks haven't owned a home yet.
Right,
And you're right. They are more conservative as far as buying a house.
which is funny.
Which is funny because they won't be conservative about, dropping money to go have a vacation at Airbnb and whatever. But, you're right. The numbers don't lie. You were at that event a couple weeks ago with Bruce Norris, and he was going over the things, the trends also with buying.
Yes.
And how he was showing how it's been kind of static over the last 2015 and 16.
Right.
And I see it with my buyers all the time. They just won't buy if they aren't getting that feeling, if they're not totally sold. And in their eyes, they're like, I would rather rent. And even if this rental is, not doing anything for me, they don't want to get roped in. And I don't know, I could kind of attest it to, I think a lot of kids my age have seen their parents maybe struggle. They maybe watch their family lose a house or
Yeah.
something like that. And
That's the
I
thing.
hear it. That's scary for a lot of people.
Yeah, well, that's the
Yeah.
one thing you don't hear a lot of experts in the industry talk about, the fact that the millennial group, most of them were living at home during the crash, and
Yeah.
probably still do live at home as a result of the crash.
Yes.
I know my wife, for example, she got her teaching credential, and in 2007, she's out trying to get a job, and yeah, there's no teaching jobs available in 2007. Like,
Wow.
sorry, so that credential just is gone. It's not even being used because.
No.
You
I
know,
believe it.
but that's some people, and there's a lot of people that were trapped into that sort of economic downturn, and yeah, the millennials are they're the ones that were in the most impressionable age, where people in like our parents' generation, your parents, they would just assume, if we lost our home, we're going to go buy another home at some point,
Yeah, and I think there was always the mindset of like, well, hard work and determination, and it'll all be corrected.
Elbow
and
grease.
exactly, which is totally not wrong. The last thing I want to come off as is, the lazy youngster who doesn't know anything about hard work.
Yeah.
But I will say, I think my generation's kind of jaded. Like, well, no, it's not going to be corrected, and everything's corrupt, and like,
Right.
I've
Sure.
heard that too. So, I've done very well with my clients who have those type of objections. My attitude is always kind of like, well, hey, I'm here to educate. If you want to buy a house, this is what it takes.
Yeah.
If you've made the decision you don't want to, then that's cool. But just realize that if I revisit this with you 12 months later, I can't promise the prices are going to be the same. I can't promise the interest rates are going to be the same. Like,
Right.
and I've had folks that are looking at me saying, yeah, you know what, you're right. It doesn't make any sense for me to stay in my, 1-bedroom rental. You're right. I have to do this now. Or they're looking at me saying, yeah, you know what, I'm going to take that gamble.
Yeah.
And that's fair for me. I would rather walk away at the end of the day knowing, okay, I let them know everything that they had to know, than feel like, I got them under contract with something they weren't 100% at. Because in the beginning, I was good at doing that too.
Of course.
But, I was finding I was getting people that were, they'd call me late at night saying, you know what, I just can't do it. And, that's not really beneficial for anyone either. So I kind of learned you got to kind of help them walk both sides of the spectrum here. It served me well. And it serves me well now when we're working with our investors and I'm trying to get offers accepted for them, to be real straightforward and stuff like that. It's been going pretty good so far.
Well, that's good. Sort of to that same point, the millennials, or people that are in the younger generation. I don't even like calling them millennials. I don't know why I keep doing it.
I
But,
do it too. I don't really know what else to call them.
you didn't hear like Generation Xers call themselves. I'm a Generation Xer.
Well,
Sometimes they do.
It's like a buzzword.
I guess.
Millennials.
I don't know. Millennials.
I'm not even gonna lie. You asked for my bio, and I was going to put something like millennial in there, like the millennial of the Keller team. I'm like, that's so stupid. I'm not gonna do it.
But
So yes,
It's funny, but it's like it's needed. Like I mean,
I don't know how else to describe us, and I don't take offense to it. I mean, whatever.
I don't
Anyway.
either. I don't even know exactly what I am. Like I fit. I'm on the cusp, so I'm like
You're still a millennial.
I'm a millennial because I think the general term is applied to people that were born with a computer in their home. Like when you were
Yeah,
born, you had a computer in the house.
I think that's fair.
Which I didn't get a computer till I was 4, so I was a late bloomer. Okay,
It was a while, and when we did have it, it was the big old thing, and we had the
Right.
dial up the.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were making those noises in the office the other day. It was funny.
Ay, ay, ay.
But we
Not like my sister. Okay, so background about me is I'm in the middle. I have two siblings.
Right.
My older sister is she's 20, she's later 20s, and she lives in Austin, Texas. And Emma is little, and she is 16. So there's a huge disparity between our ages. Me and my older sister are only 4 years apart.
Right.
But the little one is 8-year difference and 12-year difference with my big sister. So she has no idea about the millennial anything, because she was born in a world where you press a button and there's Wi-Fi.
Right.
You don't need anything because you could find it online.
It's got to be weird, and like for me, it's even weird to the point where technology's gotten. And I know this is not exactly about real estate.
I know.
but-
I'm sorry. We're
but-
getting off base.
but
But
I
I'm just
mean-
having fun with you.
But to the same, what the heck? We'll talk about it anyway because it's fun, and it's weird to me that the technology exists for stuff, and we're in this sort of interim period where we're still like a lot of things are done, manually, and they could completely be automated by some kind of a robot or a machine. And it seems strange to me, things like you're starting to see these smart refrigerators out there where they'll tell you that
Oh
your
my
milk is
gosh.
low and stuff.
I know. I saw that.
Like I'm like, why is this taking so long? Like it's not like this technology is hard.
It
Like,
is. It's
I don't
kind
get
of
it.
crazy. The smart fridge is cool because
And like it should be able to build your shopping list, go on Amazon Fresh and just order it, and you just get
Dude.
the stuff, and then a robot picks it up off your doorstep and goes and puts it away. I don't understand. I don't know why we don't have this yet.
I don't know. If
It's
we
up
did
to your,
it,
it's up to your younger sister's generation and pull this together. I think.
well, that's what they said. I took I have a little one. She's 4, and I took her to the library in Riverside, and they were having a big coding event. And this is another sign of the times. I cracked up because I remember when I was young, like schools and other public venues would be like, oh, family game night, and it
Yeah.
would be like, oh, you go and play Jenga or whatever.
Right, yeah.
At the library, they do something called family code night.
That's
and they
cool.
teach family, well, not, they teach you bring your family, but they literally try to teach you computer codes. And the whole justification is by 2020, like 80% of the workforce is supposed to be coding and things like that.
Yeah.
Jobs that are going to be available and need people to fill them. So anyways, I just thought that was interesting. I'm like, family code night? Like, what is this?
Where
like,
is this? Is that at the Riverside Public
that,
Library?
that was at, I live off La Sierra, so that was the La Sierra Library. And I was like, interesting. Hazel's too little for that. That's like, I think that's 4th grade now, but you can take your kids.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, again, not about real estate, but sort of kind of.
It kind of is because they're going to be the next generation, and we got to be ready for them when they come to the market because it's very possible that they might follow more traditional sort of things because they didn't have this great recession that they like were in high school during or in college, where it's like they might be like maybe they'll be more financially savvy, especially if they're earning the
Yeah.
kind of money that a computer.
Oh my gosh.
What do they call them? Computer programmer, like whatever computer
Yeah,
programmers get paid.
something like that. I don't know, but I will attest to the whole tech thing really does. It really did help. At least the sales end of our business get very streamlined as far as like we have basic practices now of what we do whenever we sell an investment home, or another regular standard sale as well. Maybe that's just your everyday Joe selling a home. But when I first came on to the team, before I was a licensed agent, I was doing a lot of the marketing for my parents' real estate company. But this was like really rudimentary, I was by no means, some marketing guru. I would make a little flyer on a Word document or, whatever.
That's nice.
But well, when I was, and these are, a long time ago. So this is when I was in high school, that's really all I could do anyways. But
Yeah.
you kind of felt like, oh, I'm helping, I'm
Right.
doing something. And they needed it done. So it all worked out.
Of course.
And literally I would, do those flyers by hand. I would knock on people's doors. Hi, we're having an open house. And I would hand the flyer, and it was all great, and it worked out, and it served us well at the time. But there's so many resources out there now, and I'll even say I'm not utilizing every little thing that's
No.
out there. Sometimes it feels impossible. There's just so much out there.
There's a new one we previewed yesterday. We had a company out of Colorado give us a call because through the club they wanted to start like having bring awareness to it, and this is actually an amazing product for
cool.
people. So this is something we're going to be announcing. They're like launching it in a couple weeks.
Ooh,
and,
cool.
Yeah, we're going to be announcing that once it finally gets launched. But
That gets announced at the meeting?
it will probably.
Well, not next week's, but maybe later.
Maybe next month. Yeah, because
Stay tuned, everybody.
Yeah, some awesome tools because
April meeting, you have to be there to hear about the tool.
Oh, you do, because this investors don't have tools like this. The closest thing I would say right now is Property Radar.
Okay.
But Property Radar doesn't do this. So this is going to be
intrigue.
This is going to be a very, very powerful tool. We got to preview it yesterday with the heads of the company, and it was it's super cool. And I'd love to talk about it, but I don't even think I'm supposed to. So,
okay, sorry.
But it's going to be awesome. And so once that's available, we'll announce that, and then. We have a lot of cool announcements, actually.
Ooh.
You know what? Let's go down some announcements. We got some time. It's about halfway through. So let's first I'll just reiterate that the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club is what we do. Also, we are real estate investors, and Hannah is a real estate agent. But we have the investment club, and we get together the fourth Wednesday of every month at the Mission Inn. That is at 6:30 p.m. is when we open the doors. Show starts at 7, you know, and basically we are real estate investors. We get together, talk about real estate, and we're going to be launching a new segment. So in the meeting this month, one new segment we're going to be launching, and you get to hear about it here first. We're calling it Todd's Problems. So instead of me doing
So we're just going to be there all night.
All night to talk about my problems. But no,
that's good. I bet half of the room doesn't even know what you have to encounter on a daily basis.
They don't. And, you know, and I encounter a lot. I get a lot of emails and stuff.
I'm going to make you a hashtag for that, and you're going to be famous.
There you go. Hash Brown Todd's Problems. I say Hash Brown for fun.
Hash Brown.
So I used to do the economic update every month, and I'll be honest, the economic update every month has gotten rather stale because not much is really happening. The economy's just sort of ticking along, and nothing really crazy to report. So I don't think I need to do an economic update every month at the investment club anymore. Instead, we're going to do Todd's Problems, so I can at least talk about problems that have come to me over the last month, and I can talk about what we did to solve them. I might bring up about 5 of them. We're going to see how we work with time because we're not trying to like.
I'm so ready to hear that.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, and I have a whole list of them already going. I'm just trying to decide which ones I want to put into the presentation. But
you're like, what level of stress do I want to give the audience right now?
Well, I mean, hopefully I'm going to come up with some solutions for these problems, you know, live in front of an audience. That would be great. But we're going to do that. We're going to do Todd's Problems. It's going to be fun. And then after that, we're going to follow it up with the Haves and Wants, which is when people get to come up to the stage and say, hey, I've got a fantastic deal. Buy it from me. That's awesome. We have a very good Haves and Wants now. It's probably the best in Southern California.
Yes.
And I don't just say that because it's our club, but
no.
It really is.
Well, you went from having, you know, maybe 5 people that would stand up for that to there's typically a line all the way in the back, and that's a big, you know, ballroom that you're in.
I know. And now
you're normally 20 people deep in the line of Haves and Wants, but it's great.
At least.
I like it.
And now we really have to get like a bell or something. Like you get 30 seconds, like literally.
You have to become like the Academy Awards and have the mic just kind of disappear into the ground when people are done.
Yeah.
You could just start up the music.
Oh, I never thought of the music.
I'm sorry to get out of
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, but anyway, we'll be doing the Haves and Wants, and then we do our monthly interview with a local investor. I don't actually know who we have this month. I think Steve has somebody big up his sleeve. So
it's a surprise.
It's a surprise. He does an interview. The interviews are always great. You should always stick around for them because we have people that have done usually quite a bit of business get up there and talk about their little trade secrets. And we don't sell anything. That's one thing that a lot of people are concerned about is that are we going to just bring people in and sell them some boot camp or something like that? We don't do that.
Some 40-day plan.
Oh, geez. It's, you know.
That you need my credit card to get the plan first because it's not a real plan.
Those are the worst. I mean, yeah, it's
Okay,
just
sorry,
it's
enough about
bad.
that.
No, it's bad. But we don't do that. We just talk about real estate investing. We don't have any programs to sell, and if anybody tries to sell anything, we'll kick them out because that's not who we
I've
want.
seen you do it.
We will do it, and
No, it's always a good vibe, and I feel like you could be any level. You could be someone who's just dying to get into this and doesn't know where to start, or there's always like that one guy in the group who's like, "Oh no, I own 120 units
Yeah.
and I've been doing this forever." And he's the most unassuming person in the whole group. You know, he might not be wearing a suit. He might be in, jeans and a flannel shirt,
Yeah,
but you never know.
flip flops and
You
shorts,
just never
maybe you never know.
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
And yeah, so that's the club's great. We got a very broad mix of people that come, new people,
That's the word.
experienced people,
Broad mix.
a broad mix, and very diverse too. People of all races, ethnicities, genders, and so forth. So it's a very good club. Definitely come check it out. That's on the fourth Wednesday of every month. That will be next Wednesday, March 22nd. We'll be doing that. And we have a couple other satellite. Oh, I forgot to mention the other cool thing we're going to be doing this month at the meeting. A new thing, another new feature of the club, because we want to get newer people coming back. So we're going to introduce the mentor ribbon.
Oh, cool.
So we're going to have about 5 mentors that'll be like in the crowd, available for questions. Because a lot of people want to talk to me or Steven, but we're usually swarmed with a group of people. Plus, we have stuff to do at the meeting because we haven't figured out how to have somebody do all this for us yet. So
You guys are the great and powerful Oz behind the whole thing.
that's what it seems like sometimes. But we're just pulling levers. That's all
That's
we're
why
doing.
we have Todd's problems.
Todd's problems. I could talk about all kinds of great stuff. So, anyway, the mentor ribbon is going to be awesome. These people are going to be mentors that say, "Hey, I've been in real estate for a while." That way, you can spot them. They'll have a big ribbon or a top hat. We haven't figured out exactly what we're going to give them to make them stand out in the crowd.
Is The Sims too millennial of me?
The
Do you know what
Sims?
The
I know-
Sims? Remember The Sims is an old computer game. Well, not old, but it's a computer
Yeah.
game.
I used to love it.
But the people had these big green things off their head.
The
I don't
big diamond.
I
Yeah.
don't really understand why. I honestly didn't really play it, but that's what I thought of, and it's a way to spot people in the crowd. So you need to give them.
Yeah.
Okay, don't do that. But
I don't know of a way to make a floating diamond thing, but
you can tie
we'll work on
balloons
it.
to
We'll
them when
figure
they're
it
not
out.
looking. Tie a balloon to their belt loop, and they'll
that's
just...
not a. Hey, we can have more balloons.
Jim might do it. Dad, if you're listening, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just signed you up for something.
We're going to announce it, and we're gonna actually let the mentors in for free every month. So this is
Oh,
going to
that's
be a
nice.
cool thing. But there is a caveat to that, and that'll have to be gone over with them individually. So
Got it.
anyway, the mentorship thing, we're going to announce it this month, and then next month we'll have the mentors there. So that's cool. We're excited to bring that because we want new people to have people they can say, okay, there's a mentor. I'm going to go talk to him and ask him all the the questions that are burning me right now.
Yes.
And there's usually a lot of them. So. And truthfully, and I wanted to say this earlier, to the people out there that want to get into real estate investing, you're going to see all these seminars and things that come our way. They charge a lot of money for the information. Come check out the club first, because
Yeah.
after if you do go to one of those paid seminar things, they're going to tell you to go after you've paid them all that money. They're going to tell you to go to the local investment clubs, and we were here all along. So come
That's a
to
good
the club.
point.
Come first. If you don't like what you see, then go to the paid thing, and then come back. But-
No, that's true. There's just so many resources there that people can tap into, and I think everyone thinks that if I'm not spending a ton of money, then how could it be of value? But oh no.
No, the truth of the matter is that it's not a get-rich-quick business. This is a
Yeah.
business that takes a lot of hard work,
That I
time,
have seen.
perseverance. It's not something you just get out there your first weekend and you go buy 3 houses and you make $50,000. It doesn't work that way. you
Wait,
know?
this isn't like HGTV shows
Oh,
where you
man.
just go out and your neighbor happens to be selling something that I'm sorry,
Not quite.
I don't know, but
Yeah,
you
I don't watch them either. So no, but it's not like that in reality. It's it actually takes a lot of work, a lot of networking. You got to get to know a lot of people. You have to put together capital. There's a lot of different elements that go into it.
But
And
anyone can do it, and that's the best
Anyone
part.
can, if
Even
you-
a millennial.
Even a millennial. In fact, millennials probably have a better chance of doing it for a bunch of reasons, mostly pertaining to their use of technology. Even though real estate's kind of strange in a way that technology doesn't always work, because right now we can buy pretty much anything we want on like Amazon.com. We can buy anything. But the one thing you can't buy is an investment property online. And it's kind of
True.
it's funny trying to tell people, like, get off your computer and just go knock on your neighbor's door. Go say hi, like, see if they're looking to sell. Like.
I had a gentleman come into my open house last weekend, and I think Zillow and Redfin and all the other home websites will show you if a home's in pre-foreclosure, which is pre-foreclosures are a great place to start if you're doing investment purchases.
That's definitely those hard knocks people talk about.
Yes, exactly. And the gentleman came into my open house saying, well, this is a great neighborhood of where I'd love to live, but this price point just I can't afford it. How do I buy a pre-foreclosure? And even me as a real estate agent, I was like, you should just talk to that guy personally.
Yeah.
And even then, of course, there's a million other nuances that go into that purchase. But I was letting him know, there's creative ways to do it. And I could tell he was kind of like, oh, I don't know where to begin. But that story's for a different time. There's a bunch of stuff behind that.
Oh,
But,
I hear you.
but I was letting him know, like you said, it's possible. But I think we're in an age where people they go online, they're on Redfin, all night, and there's so much data out there that you're right. Many times I meet with them, and they're like, "Yeah, I already know this. Yeah, I already know that. Yeah." Which is great. It's really good for them to be educated.
Yeah.
But then there's a lot of other things behind the sale that I know they're not thinking about. Just like even from an investor standpoint. It's easy for someone to think, okay, cool, I'm going to buy it for this value. I know it's worth this. Therefore, when I sell, it's just all going to come together. But anyone who's done this a couple times knows that there's a million things that go in between, acquiring it to actually finishing your sale and getting your checks at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure you've probably seen it go, very, very well, where, everything goes according to plan. And then you've also seen it where there's a million things that, need to be dealt with throughout the transaction.
And it's actually more rare when nothing happens. When it's just a regular transaction and everything goes so smoothly. That happens so rarely. But, hey, that's the business, and that's what makes it fun. And that's why we have a Todd's Problems segment.
You're like, Todd's Problems really is going to help me with that. What's the word? That's going to be
coping.
That's going to be your therapy for the week.
That'll be my support group will be right there.
Do we need to have some yoga stones out during those so we can
Couldn't hurt,
decompress for a minute?
And stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. No, it's not that bad. I just love it. I love this business. I love the industry. So the problems I have are, they're issues, and I'm a creative thinker and a problem solver. So it's just part of what I actually enjoy doing in this business is fixing these things. A couple other things. I'll finish about the club because I didn't finish. We have the Saturday morning coffee thing. We have a few meetings we do every month. One of them is the Saturday morning coffee. That is always held the Saturday before the monthly meeting. That is going to be this Saturday, the 18th, at Lift Coffee Roasters in Riverside on Chicago. We get together.
Very millennial spot.
It really is very millennial.
Sorry to interrupt you. It's a cool hip spot though. If no one's ever been,
it's cool. And we've bounced around to a few different coffee places, and I really like this place because we actually get it pretty much to ourselves that Saturday morning. Because 8 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday is really just too early for millennials.
Millennials don't like to get up. No, just kidding. I get up.
Yeah, no, I get up. I'm there every time. But hey, we have a good time. It's just for networking. There's no cost. We just show up and everybody gets to meet everybody else. And it's nice because we sometimes get people that can't make it to the Wednesday meetings because they work or something like that. So come Saturday morning, 8 o'clock, Lift Coffee Roasters. You get to meet us. Hannah might even be there.
I will be there.
You'll be there? Cool. I'll be there. And along with the rest of the crew. And so that's that meeting. We also do a cash flow game. This is a board game created by Robert Kiyosaki. It teaches you how to learn real estate investing while you're sitting there playing a game and having some fun. It's kind of like Monopoly, but a little bit different, and it's a lot of fun. I got to play it for the first time last month.
Oh, cool.
And I had a great time.
I've never done it, I'll be honest.
You should go.
But I hear a lot of
fun.
good things about it.
We do that at the Bar and Grill Company in Ukaipa.
Yeah,
Lisa's bar. Yep, Lisa's one of our club members. She's there, and she runs the meeting, and it's a lot of fun. Plus you're at a bar, so they have libations and things, and food, and the food's great.
I like it.
So that's the cash flow game. That's always on the first Wednesday of the month. So that one's coming up April something or other. The first Wednesday of April. I don't know what day that is because I'm not looking at my calendar, but. And then the next meeting after that, we're going to be bringing it back. We took kind of a 2-month time off on the happy hour, but once a month we like to do a happy hour. Usually around the second Friday of the month is when we'll get together at a local bar, restaurant kind of place, and same thing, network. It's like the Saturday morning coffee where we just get together, socialize, and talk about real estate, meet other real estate investors because. 9/10 of this business is just showing up and being present and getting to know people and expanding your network. So
I think a lot of people don't take into account just how much business can be had by being able to kind of just chat and chill over coffee or a drink or whatever. It doesn't have to be any drink, but just being able to hang out in a relaxed setting.
yeah,
You'll be surprised how much business will come up of, oh, well, actually I have this deal and I can't work through it, or oh, I have this buy, or whatever it is.
yeah.
I think people think you have to be like, again, like jet setting off, I don't know, or sitting in a big, conference table or something, but it's a
Nope.
cool thing about this business. It can be done anywhere, and if you're around good people, a lot of times it's, maybe in a cool, social event or whatever it is. I don't know.
Very well. Absolutely. And one other thing I have to mention, and this is actually something I messed up last week, and I promised a couple people because I got emails about it, and I actually got a phone call about it. This is a Todd's problem that I didn't intend to happen, but last week on the show, I had said, and this was a thing I said that somebody told me that I didn't fact check before it came out of my mouth. So I was told that
Damn.
Craftsman Homes were actually built by the Sears company. Like, these were kit homes that they would deliver to your house, to your land location. You're going to build a home, and the word Craftsman, like the brand that they have for their tools and stuff, is like that was Sears's brand. They built these Craftsman homes. Well, no, that's not the case. Sears did have kit homes, but they were not called Craftsman homes. They were Craftsman home is a style of home, and this is something, I mean, I've known Craftsman as a style of home, but somebody told me that Craftsman...
That's not what the kit was called.
No, somebody told me that Craftsman was the brand of a Craftsman home.
I would believe it.
I don't know.
They're crafting a home.
I believed it, and it was just one of those things that I said it last week, because we were talking a lot about tiny homes and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
It was a lot of fun. We had a good show last week, but... yeah, I said it, and I was wrong. So I want to just come on here and say I was completely wrong. And for anybody out there that went and told other people that Craftsman homes were built by Sears and sold, that was not true. They did not, in fact. But Sears did have kit homes, and they're actually quite valuable if you can find them. They're not as common as I thought they would have been, but...
that is interesting. Isn't it crazy just how far that we've came as far as advancements on that stuff?
It's funny, though,
kit
because...
home. You can't, I mean, well, you know what? Actually, sort of yes and sort of no, because you're right. The tiny houses, a lot of them are being done in a manufactured way already, where I guess it is sort of like a kit thing back, even though... it's different now.
The kit was crazy. Like, they would deliver these things on trains, and then a truck would take and deliver it to your property, and you'd hire usually a contractor, but the plans were all there. All the stuff you needed was there, except for a few of the minor finishing touches that you'd usually have a local craftsman do. But yeah, they were. I mean, it was kind of a cool concept, and
the homes are beautiful. I mean, everyone loves it now. Gosh.
Well, I guess Sears gave it up in like the mid '40s or something like that, is when they stopped doing their kit homes. So. Apparently, if you find a Sears kit home out there,
hold on to it.
It's valuable, and there's ways to find out. So go online if you're interested in looking at Sears kit homes. Go check them out. It was kind of a cool little thing that I got to look into between last week and this week because now I just feel like an idiot. But
no,
hey, it happens. We all make mistakes.
No,
and
I'm
anyway,
glad you cleared it up.
I wanted to clear it up because I don't want to put out
alternative
disinformation.
Facts?
Yeah, I like that. Alternative facts. Yeah. Anyway, so you brought a list of questions. We should probably start tackling these because we only got like 15 minutes left. So we got to
speed question.
Hannah was very, very diligent. She wrote out a bunch of questions before she came on the show because she wanted answers to these burning questions. So I'll let you ask.
Well, I mean, I'm just dying to know what your favorite topping of pizza is. I mean, come on.
Oh, man.
Oh, I'm just kidding.
Cheese. Extra cheese.
Cheese on cheese.
Cheese
Guys,
on cheese.
Those aren't the questions. Don't worry. There's better questions.
But I have answers.
Aye.
I do like pepperoni from time to time.
Pepperoni, I do. I like mushroom jalapeno and sometimes pepperoni. Okay.
Awesome.
Let's get down to
We got
business,
that out of the way.
everyone. I know.
If you don't want to buy us a pizza, now
you guys can turn the show off. That was the most important. I'm just kidding. No, there's a lot of stuff here. So, well, I kind of started by saying I want to thank you for letting me on the show as an agent, because I know if you're an investor out there or if you're someone that's going to a club, it's typically not hard to come across someone who's a real estate agent. But my thing is kind of, is that the competent agent that you want representing your most really probably prized investment? If you're doing your first deal, doing the deal is one thing, buying it right, making sure the construction's gone correctly, making sure your money partner, is doing everything they're supposed to do.
Sure.
That's all one part of it. And I think a lot of people don't take into account the sale end of it. And in a way, I do think technology has become the best friend and worst enemy of a lot of consumers out there because it's easy to think, well, I mean, gosh, I'm going to take some pictures on my phone.
Yeah.
I can listen on Zillow myself and, whatever. This is not going to be hard. Or vice versa. I'm not even talking about a for sale by owner. Maybe they have, oh, my buddy is, an agent. We'll be fine. No big deal.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things that go into successfully selling the house. So my question to you as an investor is what do you think what is like two things out there that you think 90% of the agents don't know in regards to investing and flipping?
Oh,
Because
man.
I'm sure there's more than two, but I'm telling you, what's your top two of, gosh, I keep running into this issue with with other agents?
I'd say the number one biggest thing that agents don't know about investors is that they frequently accuse us of making low ball offers. But the thing is, investors make investor offers because we have to turn a profit. We're exchanging usually somebody's problems for some of their equity. So an agent oftentimes will value a home, like they'll give a home that needs quite a bit of work, they'll give it market value, and
then be upset when you come in under that.
yeah, when I come in under market value because it's not market value, it's investor market value. And most homes, like we talked about this before, if you drive up and down a street, you can number them from 1 to 10. The 10 being the best one. This is the guy that, put in the beautiful landscaping and put the lights on the landscaping and all that stuff, and it's an amazing house. And then the 1 is the guy that has the tarp on the roof, and the car on blocks in the driveway. That's the 1. Most homes fall into about the 6 range, where, if they've lived in it for a little while and they're going to sell it, most homes are going to need probably some carpet, some flooring touch-ups. The kitchen might be a little dated. They might have wallpaper, which the rule about wallpaper is 80% of people won't like the wallpaper. The other 20% don't like your wallpaper.
True.
So
it's coming back. I've seen it in some cool houses before.
there's some cool wallpaper.
But you're
out
right.
there.
You're right.
But it's most homes are
the value's a big thing.
Yeah, well, most homes when you buy a 6, the new owner's going to have to come in. They're going to replace the carpet. They're probably going to paint the house. They might even swap out kitchen cabinets and bathroom vanities. Definitely probably touch the electrical and plumbing fixtures and have newer finishings, because they got to get rid of that old brass stuff that was in there, for example. Even though gold's kind of coming back, but or black's big right now.
Yeah.
But people are going to want to replace that. That costs money. It's to do a renovation of that size is going to be at least $20,000, and that's if you're getting investor pricing. If you're getting homeowner pricing, expect that to be more like 50. So
yes.
So when you're looking at a home, investors buy homes that usually cannot qualify for traditional bank financing. If you're talking a Fannie Mae or a Freddie Mac home, an investor is going to buy something that Fannie and Freddie will not lend on because there's problems with the house. Usually something with the mechanicals of it, or there's a pool that's green or something. There's usually a reason why investors are buying it. And a lot of times we're offering on these properties that do need cosmetic repairs, and it's something that the owner can't afford to do. They're looking to get equity out, and so we're making an offer that we can make. And a lot of agents out there, at least one of the things agents don't know is that there are multiple markets that exist in real estate. There's a investor market price, an investor market value. There's also current market value. There's after repair value. There's all these different values on a home. And
that's kind of getting into my second question,
okay.
which is no.
I didn't get into my second thing that agents don't know, but that's fine.
Oh, I stopped you.
No.
Well, because you're getting into something that's important, though.
Okay.
Because Jim and I. Okay, so again, my dad, Jim. So Jim is an investor. Yes, I write offers for him all day for homes that are listed on the MLS. But similarly, if he's going out and obtaining investment houses based on talking to a homeowner directly or things like that, that still exists. But Todd, if you're talking to an agent, let's say they send you a home and say, I'm about to list this, what do you think? Would you like to write an offer? This is where the price is. Are you finding that you think most agents out there have a good idea of what the ARV of a property is? Like if you called that agent and said, hey, I love 123 Main Street, what do you think the ARV is, though? Are you finding that most agents can give you a value, or is it like,
Actually, surprisingly, most of them do know the ARV.
Okay.
They just think that it's currently worth that.
Ah.
And that's the problem.
They're like,
So-
yeah, the neighbor just sold for 450,
Yeah.
so 450.
And I'm like, and by the way, the neighbor was a flip that actually somebody I know did, you know?
Yes,
And yeah, that's
okay.
why it sold for 450 because it's a beautiful remodel.
And you're like, and yours is 200 on a good day. Okay. I
Right,
hear
yeah, I'll give you
Okay.
260 for yours, you know?
Uh-huh,
But,
okay.
you know, yeah, agents are actually really usually pretty good because most of them can comp a neighborhood. But
Yeah.
what I think I actually said to an agent, send me the comparables. I said the word comparables to them one time, and they said, what are those? Are those like comps? And I'm like, no, comparables are comps. That's what comp is short for,
See
is
the
comparable.
first 4 letters of that word?
Yeah, so I had to explain to them that a comparable means if the subject property, the house that we're looking at, is a 1,200 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath house with a swimming pool, we're going to compare it to other 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes that are around 1,200 square feet with swimming pools, with similar sized lots in similar neighborhoods.
Yes.
You know, that's a comparable because it's very similar to the property we're dealing with. And I like blew her mind when I said this. Like she had no idea that this was even a thing. And I'm like, that's
Like
that's
wait a
what
minute,
comps
that's a
are.
good idea, Mr. Bayer.
Yeah. Well, she was getting the comps from CoreLogic because, you know, CoreLogic
Okay.
will,
Yeah, they'll
in the
feed 'em
MLS.
to you.
Yeah, like they're just taking it on their little property profiles. And I'm like, that's not how you comp a property. You know?
Yeah,
So-
moments where technology doesn't always do all the work. There's always a level of human involvement that's needed for
Exactly.
stuff like that.
Well, and those systems are called automated valuation models, AVMs for short.
Okay.
And Zillow is one of them. And, you know,
Like the Zestimates on people's
Zestimates,
homes.
yeah, and Zestimates are frequently fairly inaccurate, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get into a neighborhood where it's like a huge tract home development, where it's like there's 1,000 homes in this development,
Yeah.
and they're all the exact same house, you know, those houses, Zillow's actually going to be much more accurate with those prices than
Yeah, those are, I mean, if it's all pretty cookie cutter similar, then that's all good. It's where, like, you know, those neighborhoods, of some of them downtown Riverside, you know, your neighbor might look nothing like the one next to you, and it sure as heck might look anything like what's a mile away or something like that. But
exactly.
anyways, yeah, I hear you.
So anyway, yeah, so that's
Well, it's something that I feel like I've dealt with a lot firsthand. Because background about our team is that when Terry, my mom, was starting off as an agent, she did a lot of short sales. So we were disputing value constantly with the bank.
Sure.
And that wasn't even on an investor angle yet. That was just with us being agents. You know, we have the bank saying, oh, you have a $350,000 asset because we're looking at these sales.
Yeah.
And we're coming in, sending them photos saying, okay, yeah, but the tile that is supposedly all beautiful is all broken inside, and the roof has a hole, and, you know,
Sure.
the AC doesn't work, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and the property's not marketable. You
Yeah.
know, you're not going to get 350 for it on the most amazing day that exists. It's just not going to happen. you know,
Yeah.
and-
So I feel like even as a young starting off agent, I got a good grasp working with Terry, who was doing those deals, because she was teaching me, like, look, I know the bank's saying this, but we got to learn to do that. And it kind of taught me, like, okay, yeah, someone might be giving you some price, but you can negotiate it, but you got to show them why, or
Right.
things like that. And it's helped us today a lot. Also, coming off the coattails of short sale stuff, when we listed these properties that were vastly under market value, we got, you know, of course, you're invaded with investors' cash offers, and, you know, everyone, you know, I'll close in 2 minutes, you
Oh,
know,
yeah, of
well,
course.
whatever, you know, whatever the email is, you know, I put them out for Jim too, so I get how it goes. But I noticed that sometimes there's agents in the field when I'm writing offers for other investors who might be weary of dealing with an investor. If it's, you know, not that they don't want the cash offer, but, you know, they say, okay, yeah, cash, but, you know, don't lowball it or whatever.
Sure.
You know, where do you think the mindset comes from that these people the agents are so concerned to work with us as agents or as investors?
investors,
That they're
you
going to
know,
get burned or something.
I think there's a lot of really flaky investors out there, and these are, I don't call them investors. These are like so-called investors. They're people, you know, they're self-proclaimed investors that they've never actually invested or flipped a property or bought a property before. And there's a lot of wholesalers out there that pretend to be a cash buyer. And there's a lot of these people that go out there and they make an offer on a property and the seller might accept it. And then these wholesalers will then assign the contract to somebody else. They don't end up buying it. This other person does. Nobody knows who this new person is in the contract. And everybody's really confused for a little while there. And agents, I mean, it's kind of, you know, it's disruptive. It's very annoying actually dealing with wholesalers. I'll be quite honest. It really is. and agents don't like it.
Like
And
fear of the unknown if you're an agent working with an investor.
it's easier to just say no to an investor, and that's why, earning a reputation as an investor is a big deal. Like when people know that you close, that you're the buyer,
Yes.
that you're the person, that helps out so much. But agents that don't know you, they're, it's
Yeah.
like you're the best looking girl in the bar and every guy is hitting on you, like you're just like, leave me alone. You just start saying no.
Yeah, that's actually that's a good analogy because Terry used to put my phone number when I was an agent. She's like, okay, I'm putting your number on the MLS for all these short sales, and I was like, oh my god, I got to get all these calls.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're ruthless, and you got to get real good, real fast at vetting who's for real, who's not, all that stuff. Anyways,
You do. And, hey, I completely understand why they do. But it's unfortunate because agents should try working with investors more. And the biggest reason why...
that I will give you too. I think there's some pull on both ends. I think us on the agent end also need to kind of see a little bit from where you guys are coming from. And if there was a little bit of give from us on the realtor end, I think it would really help both of us.
Sure.
Because a lot of times we might be saying no, but then we're the ones with the home on the market for 200 days. It's like, who's suffering, you know, us or you? Probably us.
I mean, think about it. A lot of agents are looking for a house that is going to be listed, right? How do you find the people that are selling a home? Well, when you know investors, you know how many properties we've bought this month. Like you already know.
Seriously.
So you already know that in 3 months or so, we're going to be selling those properties. So it would make sense for agents to reach out to us because we are going to have properties to sell, and we're selling them constantly, and not just us, but other investors as well. So, every single day a new investor property is hitting the market. So the more investor clients you have as an agent, the more likely you are to have listings, and you get commission from these. It's amazing. So I'm like,
it's like you said about there's hidden facets of the business that people have no idea about. Like there's agents in my office that you're right. I know the people that are working with buyers who are really getting it done. And if I have stuff coming up, I'll let them know, hey, there's inventory out there. And you're right, for something to be off market, it's like, oh my gosh, you know, of course they want to know. Anyways, I know you're getting low on time. I have one last question.
All
It's
right, we'll
important,
try to make it quick.
and then we're done. Okay. As an investor, and you're working with an agent, what would an agent have to do to be of value? Because I know there's probably agents that are listening.
So agents of value, I mean, so we tend to ask a lot of our agents, and it's more because agents don't have to do what they used to have to do. Back in the old days where there was no MLS system, there were books in every single office. Agents usually they have to drive around, find out what all the properties there for sale are. Comping stuff was hard. Like agents used to have a really hard job. They still get paid those same commissions today, but it's much easier, I'll be honest. So we tend to put agents to work because they're a member of our team when we're involved in a deal. Sure. If we buy it with an agent, they're probably going to be the ones selling it for us. So a lot of times we'll have them kind of keep tabs on the property. Hopefully they live nearby so they can kind of drive by it every once in a while and say, hey, it looks like the project's coming along well. It's good.
Try to take on an active role from not from start, but start to finish,
sure.
Progress, everything.
But also, they can start pre-marketing the property a little bit too. They can start, finding ways to get it sold. They can start looking for buyers, start finding offices that have a lot of buyers or buyers agents. Maybe start hosting some open houses in the neighborhood and to start gathering some buyers that are looking in that neighborhood. These are things they can do proactively before we actually list the property that are of value to us. Obviously, agents that bring us deals are extremely valuable to us. So any agent that calls and says, hey, I have this person that's selling their home and it's a really ugly house, we love you. Please, call us. That's almost the most valuable thing you could do for us. But
I like it. So a little bit of everything: sales, acquisitions, marketing.
Sure. I mean, anything you'd expect to have happen in a real estate, thing. Plus, I mean, maybe they meet some new people. They can say, "Hey, I met this great property inspector up in Victorville, and he's a great inspector. Like, you should work with him." So. That's always cool, when they can find new resources for us, new contractors also, because we're always short on contractors. So, those are some awesome things that agents can do for investors that would really, really help out.
We can do it, agents.
We can do it.
You heard it here.
Exactly. Do it. Make it happen. All right, we're pretty much almost out of time, but before we finish, I want to say thank you, Hannah, for coming on today. I really appreciate you coming out.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We have to come back because there's still
a
bunch of questions we didn't even touch. So anyway, anybody out there we're going to get into investing, go check out the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club. And like I said before, we meet the fourth Wednesday of every month. You can look us up on meetup.com or just Google Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club, and you'll find us. And yeah, come check us out next Wednesday, and come check out the Saturday morning coffee this Saturday at Lift Coffee Roasters in Riverside. And definitely don't forget to keep tuning in here to KCAA every week at Thursday at 4 p.m. And we'll talk about real estate more then. So in the meantime, have a great week. We'll see you all next week. Take care, everyone.